Thanks for watching the art product videos. I need a favor. If you enjoy these videos, it would be very helpful for me if you would watch all the way to the end and share on your favorite social media platform. Thanks for this help. This is part 2 monoprinting. If you haven't seen the first video, you should probably watch it. The first thing I did was I put ink on my printing plate, which is a piece of plexiglass, and then I lined a piece of paper up with the side of the printing plate as registration, and then I put a drawing that I already did on top of it and taped it down. And then after taping that down, I traced over the top of it, carefully outlining everything. This is pretty important because the actual print that I'm attempting to do is going to come from the second pull. And so tracing everything here the first time creates, when I pull the paper up, it's going to create a white line on the printing plate that is basically a drawing of the skull. So I'm going over everything, and I'm shading it in basically just like it is on the paper, shading everything in as nice and neat as I can. Then I can pull the paper up a little bit, holding it down on one side and lifting it up so I can see how well it did. And you can see I need to do some more at the top of the eye there, and the nose I completely forgot to shade in, so I'm going to put it back down, and then I'm going to go over those spots that I missed a little bit more thoroughly, remembering to do the nose this time. Then peel it up to see how it looks, and getting the eye a little bit better again. Now, this first print looks really good and I can use it. I like it, but what I'm really going for is the second print, the second pull that I'm going to do, and I kind of need the initial print so I can see on the printing plate what it is I'm looking at. I'm taking a piece of newspaper here and wadding it up several times so it kind of creates a soft paper towel. You can, if you want a cleaner area than what this newspaper is going to do, you can use a sponge, but I'm now using this newspaper to wipe ink off of the plate. So the top of the skull I wanted to give like a little highlight, and so I'm using this paper towel to wipe off areas to create highlights in the drawing. Like I said before, you can use a wet sponge or even a paintbrush to take up areas. I'm getting a little bit more, and so anything that I take off of the printing plate is going to be a lighter area or a white area on the actual print. So of course it's still a monoprint because it's the only one that's gonna be like it. Then I take a little bit of this linseed oil and I'm going to put it in the places that I want it to be darker, and I'm just putting a little drop in each place. Then I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to kind of reactivate the paint by adding a little bit of linseed oil to it and mixing the paint and the linseed oil together on this particular spot. I'm able to make a darker print in those areas. So I'm basically filling in the nose and the eyes because those are holes in the skull where I want it to print darker. Because I've already printed this plate once, it's sort of dried the oil paint up a little. I'm using oil paint, in case you hadn't watched the first video. I'm using water-soluble oil paint as my ink, and this linseed oil basically just wets the oil paint down and makes it easier to print. And the rest of it, since it's already been printed once, doesn't print quite as much. Lay the paper down, spread it out. I'm going to use a gift card or a credit card or a driver's license to smooth the paper out. I got a couple of wrinkles there, but it didn't seem to hurt the image at all, and it turned out all right. There it is. You can see where the highlights are and where the darker images of the eyes. I'm going to put a little shadow underneath the jawbone. I've already taken my paper up and set it to the side, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually print it a third time by putting some linseed oil here around the bottom of the jaw to create kind of a shadow on the table. And then I'm going to take the very same picture that I just pulled off of there that you just saw printed, and I'm going to lay it back on there, lined up with the edge, and take my card and smear it again. And you can see how it made a darker area right there on the table. This one's not really as good as my first attempt at this method, but I'll show you a picture at the very end of the video that looks like that's a better print. So there's the first print on the left and the second print on the right at the top. The bottom print's more of a contour drawing, and the top one is more of a shading. And this print that I just laid down, that is the original drawing, or the original monoprint that I did. I like the way it turned out. Thank you again for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and please share this on your favorite social media platform so I can get some extra views. Go make some art.